Hello, Caminantes. This is a beautiful day. Love it. Tiffany, love, you look amazing.
I love how you say my name.
How?
I think I'm going to change my name.
To?
Tiffany.
Tiffany. You see, a little bit of that lost in translation kind of thing. Bilingual, English, Spanish. Caminantes, today is a beautiful day. Episode 13. We're making it every single week, I meant. This is getting good. And the reason why it's getting good is not only because of the growth of the community, your participation, but every time I feel, love, let me know if that's correct, that the topics that we are bringing in for discussion, the feedback that we're listening from the community, it's just becoming quite interesting, right? The kind of dialogue that we're receiving privately. So any thoughts on that before I jump to the tagline and what this episode is going to be about?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much. Every day we wake up and there are more subscribers. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button right now. This community is growing and growing very quickly. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Really, we are here to do life together as caminantes and walkers, just pressing through every day, not just surviving, but thriving. And it's just so good to be with y'all. So thank you for being here. And I'm Tiffany. I'm Tiffany.
Tiffany.
And I'm happy to be her. And
I'm Luis.
My amazing husband.
Luis. That's how you... Anyway,
It's
episode
Luis.
13... Growing through discomfort, embracing the unknown. And I think that happened when I met you, truly. Growing through discomfort, embracing the unknown. I gotta say, guys, I mean, this is the biggest breakthroughs that I think people have been waiting just outside the comfort zone.
Oh, man.
Is that kind of what the biggest breakthroughs are waiting just outside your comfort zone? I think that's better.
Yeah, that's typically how it goes. Oh, and by the way, do you remember that project that I was telling you about last week that I was stuck on?
Tell me what happened.
And I was just failing.
And do you like to fail, sweetie?
I do now.
You embrace it now.
Yeah. Right. Well, I know that if I keep failing, I'm eventually gonna win, and that's exactly what happened. So, anyways, I thought that you guys would all love to hear.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you.
These are the moments. But
yes, so just to your point, my breakthrough came definitely outside of my comfort zone and maybe 5 or 6 times failing.
So the question then is, what if your comfort zone is the very thing holding you back? What about it?
Today, we are diving deep into why discomfort is not something to avoid. It's something to embrace, because that is exactly where growth happens. That is exactly where the breakthrough comes.
So if you ever feel stuck, unsure, or even scared to take the next step, stay tuned, guys, because your biggest breakthroughs are waiting just beyond the familiar, the common, the comfort.
So why is comfort then overrated?
I mean, I think comfort zones are just safe, you know? But nothing truly amazing happens when you just stay still and nothing goes on. I mean, think about it, right? So yes, it's your safety, it's what you're comfortable, it's the known, but in reality, nothing happens while you are hiding behind a desk or a corner or 4 walls. So, Tiffany, what about, did you first realize that discomfort could be a good thing after all?
Yeah, but it was in my business. My business has taught me so much.
Made you so uncomfortable. Well, because remember, when I met you, you really were not even thinking about, entrepreneurship, owning a business. You were going through a corporate career.
And I loved it.
This is for you something uncomfortable that has been going on for the past, almost 7 years?
Yeah, longer.
Longer,
but,
Give it a take. Correct me because I want to know exactly.
I would say, so 2016, so 15. I would say 2016. So
2016. So
almost 10
9
years. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's where the stretching really came, was in entrepreneurship for me, because you have to.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise it's super easy to play it safe. But, you know, I think that this is interesting because there's this person that I know, and I'm not going to mention names, and I love this person so much. But this person is like addicted to comfort.
Yes.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Completely.
Don't say any names because I don't want to do that.
Why
But
would I?
like, and this person likes it like that.
Right. And there's a lot of people that likes it like that. But then there's consequences. Things happen. And where did comfort got you? Because time passes by and you age, right? And at one point, comfort is not comfortable anymore. And if you don't get out of it at a proper time, I think life will send you an invoice, some sort of a bill. I just think that every life is different, every background is different, every scenario is different. But from what I've seen from my scope of those that didn't plan properly, didn't see it far enough, somehow life catches up and asks you why you didn't do, or why didn't you do enough to actually. I mean, I'm seeing it with people that work with me and conversations that I had with them 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and that they decided to stay in the comfort zone, and the opportunities that have passed by have been amazing, incredible. And not only that, life has caught up.
Yeah.
Family has been saying, well, where are we now, 5 years later? And then family breaks, right? And all these things are occurring because of the decision of staying comfortable. So I don't know. I just don't think that it doesn't get you anywhere.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hear you. In my experience, and I can only speak from my experience, and the purpose of this podcast is to provide hope and encouragement and wisdom to propel forward, whether that is financial, emotional, physical, in every way these things can be applied. But, since it is our podcast, I do need to say, honestly, that any and every major growth moment, ultimate joy moment, like overly, unbelievably fulfilled moment in my life has happened when I stepped into something unfamiliar. And yeah, it's scary at first. And yeah, but like you only it's no risk, no reward, right?
That's right.
So it just reminds me, like when I did that mission trip with a local radio station at the time and an artist. That was super scary. That was probably one of the biggest moments for me. And I almost didn't go.
That was the first time for you. That was the first time you actually went out of the country in that way.
In that way,
Right.
in that capacity.
Right.
Yeah, which is you see the world differently.
Right. So would you think that, or would you say that discomfort is like a signal? It's kind of like a cue to move forward and not backward? Because I see it like that. That's why you can choose to ignore it now, but later on somehow life forces you to do it anyway. And I think that's kind of like what my point is. Like, if you get used to being discomfortable, and you get used to change and embrace it instead of being resistant, I think at one point, either you do it proactively, or life will push you to do it anyway, but in a different scenario, and probably it may be even more discomfortable.
Well, it will feel more uncomfortable because you have been resistant to that comfort building muscle over time.
Correct.
So, but let's get real and talk about how to face comfort, because it's not easy. And I feel like that's what we're talking about. Like, it's easier to just stay where you are at.
Yes.
But the only thing constant is change.
That's right.
So life is changing whether we stay exactly where we're at or not. And I love how you positioned it, that at some point we are going to have to move.
Right.
We're going to have to get uncomfortable in all different ways.
Yes.
So how do you, because this has been you've done such a great job at this in so many ways. So how do you personally overcome that initial fear or anxiety of doing something?
You know, I remind myself that the fear of staying stuck is greater than the fear of moving forward.
That's right.
I think comparing the two helps you to make that step. It shifts my mindset from what if I fall to what if I succeed. And I think we talked about it in our last episode, is the if scenarios are great to mitigate risk. You have to think about it, but that shouldn't be your focus. Your focus is, what if I succeed? And then everything else plays along in your map to mitigate, strategize, make some changes, some pivoting. But the focus truly is, what if I succeed if I make this adjustment, if I take this risk, if I take that challenge, if I get uncomfortable now, because now I got the energy, I'm young, I'm single, I don't have people that are depending on me. Can I do that? And that I did that before I even met you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I took so much risk before I met you, and it was intentionally done. And that's why I delayed the whole family plans to my 30s. It was intentionally planned and designed like that because I wanted to take as much chances and risk to fail, stand up, fail, get back up again. So finally I could be what I was looking for, which was financial independence. Not only for me, but for my family. And during those times, during that cycle, life cycle, for those that are 20s and the early 30s, that is your moment to take risk. Because once you start adding a beautiful wife, kids, and this and that, your risk appetite decreases. Because now you're responsible for 3, 4, even 5 more lives because you're the head of the household. So just food for thought, because I think taking chances, taking risks is a must. How you mitigate or how you calculate risk is something that life or you should be learning about, depending on your life, on your age or where you are. Because it's not a matter if I take risks or not. It's how you take it. And I think that should be the main question of this episode. How you take it.
I just got to say, I love a man with vision and strong execution skills.
That's it. Anything else, ready?
Well, yeah, I saved a lot, for marriage too. And, I got a lot out of my system in my 20s. And you said a couple of things that I really want to highlight.
Go for it.
And this, for me, this was a life-changing quote for me because this is what initially gave me the courage and the just like put the pedal to the metal. When the fear of things changing, when the fear of things staying the same becomes greater than the fear of change, you want to do something.
That's right.
So when you're like, okay, I am so scared that things are going to be like this when I get married, when I have kids, whatever. That for me, that's what it was. I was like, okay, wait a second. My life cannot be like this as a mother and as a wife. You know what I mean? So we gotta do what we gotta do no matter what it is. And I just remember like literally pulling myself up by the bootstraps and like putting a plan. Here's what I'm gonna do. I met with, wise counsel, and then I just outlined it. And it was like 3 brutal years of life change, rebuild. And yeah, I see my boys today and I just think about, I did all of this, for you. And I am who I am because I didn't want my life to stay how it was. I wanted a better life.
You want to
and
change.
you got to take personal responsibility. That's number one, always.
Accountability. You got to be accountable.
Yeah, it's personal.
I got myself to this, and now I have to get myself out of this.
So reframing it like that makes the unknown less intimidating and more exciting.
Yes. So going back to taking risk, right? So taking risk is often seen as reckless,
Yes.
right? And I just have to disagree so much with that. It could be because of the background that I come from and the career that I had at one point, as a banker. Bankers, that's all what they do every single day. Take risk, and who you're going to give money to, right? But how do you mitigate so that way that person that you're giving money repays back, correct?
Yeah.
And you got to see a lot of stuff into your analysis and calculation. So taking risks is often seen as reckless. And I would say cannot disagree more about that statement. But calculated risks are essential for growth. What's being your biggest reward from taking a big leap, Tiff? I mean, think about everything that we're talking about. What has been your biggest reward?
You.
Oh, you're so cute. Thank you, sweetie.
I think
you're making points today. You're making points.
Truly you. And then, of course, my kids, my family. But I also, business has just been, it's really amazing.
It's been good.
It's been,
all right. So tell me about that risk. So why was I at risk? Or why that decision of choosing me or fighting for me was risky? So that way we can tie it up the context of the episode. So when you took that leap, right? And you're saying that it was me, how did that look like?
What time is it?
We have to keep it within the time, but
3:50. Okay.
you got to keep it short. No, let's not extend and go the whole thing. And
no, the story and the context is really important. I would just, for me, it is just committing and giving yourself to somebody.
to marriage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is. Yeah, you said it a couple of episodes ago.
The decision to have kids, and
those are big. Those are huge decisions. Those are like probably the most important decisions, you do.
Yeah.
Not even business. I agree. I think so too. Every risk that I think we have taken, every uncomfortable decision, has created opportunities that we have never imagined. I think that it goes back to what we were saying. Staying comfortable and not choosing somebody to do life with. Staying comfortable and living by yourself, because you have control of everything, right? That happens within your own four walls.
Well, and people also people put walls up. Life has a way of just beating you down and breaking your heart. And people put up walls to protect from ever having to feel that pain.
That's right.
And people who haven't felt that or in a particular scenario, may not understand that. But
and that's what I mean by the four walls, right? It's like those are walls that we build up, which is a self-defense mechanism that puts you in a corner, isolated, safe, because you don't want anybody or anything to hurt you. You may have had some failures, like we spoke about, right, in the last episode, and then that failure may have caused insecurity, may have caused certain traumas because somebody hurt you, or a business may have not, thrive, or a relationship may have not worked, and that causes pain. That causes a negative emotion towards that makes you to retract and isolate yourself. That's what playing safe is, right?
Right.
In every single context, business, relationship, even from the individual standpoint. So again, it doesn't do anything. And I think if we take it to the next level, you are not fulfilling the purpose that you have been put, that you are not fulfilling the purpose that God has put in you in this earth. And that's how I see it. You're going against that purpose. And all of us have beautiful gifts, beautiful purposes. Everybody's different. You got to find what your purpose is. But when you play safe and you play in that corner isolated, you're going against your own purpose in life.
Yeah.
How about that, sweetie?
Beautiful. 365 times it's mentioned in the Bible, one for every day, do not fear. That is not a coincidence. One of the most encouraging things that I've ever heard was when I was a mom, and I've said it before, but I have to say it again. Your next decision, regardless of what you make, is going to be the right decision because that's the one that you have chosen. And if you make a decision, and it could be right, it could be wrong, but you choose and you make a decision, that's the right decision.
That's right.
And then as you go along, you're going to get experience, you're going to get wisdom, you're going to fall, you're going to get up. Either way, you could choose. I could have married you, and I'm so glad I did. So
Or you could have married somebody else.
Or I could have married somebody else.
Right.
And either way would have been hard, and I would have had highs, and I would have had lows. And with you, I only have highs.
You see? Because that's what they call me. That's my nickname.
What?
Luis, the positive guy. You will have only positive experience with. No, sweetie, that's not true. We have a lot of ups and a lot of downs.
Of
and
course.
Our relationship is, but she's so beautiful. You're so beautiful, sweetie. Thank you for even saying that our negatives or our downs are still positive. That's why I married you. Let's continue. Let's
share some practical advice.
Right.
So I love taking all of this just great information. I need to call it wisdom because that is what this is. And when you put this knowledge into action, things change.
Yes.
What is one actionable step that somebody can take to embrace discomfort?
I mean, I would say start small. Okay, you don't have to go for the big thing. Start small. Start building that fire in the belly kind of thing. Start with little things. Choose one thing you avoid out of fear, even or even commit doing. Okay, each small step builds courage for a bigger one. So start small. Start building that curiosity. What could it be? I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that, and embrace the fear. Take it as it is. It's just a fear, nothing else. Embrace it, hug it. Make it now not a fear, but a strength, something positive, just like Tiff. I mean, she just said that our downs, and I'm going to make her to live like that for the rest of our lives. Because even the downs are positive. And it's about perspective, and I think we'll have an episode about that. How looking at things differently helps you to embrace these kind of things that we're talking about, like fear. So start small, just one thing that you have been avoiding for so long just because of fear or because you just don't want to commit to it. Embrace it. And you'll see that by doing that and choosing another one later, and it starts becoming like bigger leaps.
Yes.
Bigger things.
Yes.
And that's how you build routine. That's how you reshape. That's how you reinvent yourself. That's how you redesign, pivot. I mean, those are the things that make great leaders in today's society.
And I'm going to say it just like I tell my little boys, because I wish that it was viewed failure and mistakes and success. And I wish that there was like I want to just shine a different light on all those things for my kids. Right. So they have certain fears, and we encourage them to be brave and courageous. It's still doing it even when you have that emotion, because that's all it is an emotion. So still stand up for yourself. Still, walk yourself into school. It's little things, but it's the same context. You still have the emotion, but you do it anyway.
Yes.
And that's courage.
Yes.
So remember, discomfort those emotions, those are just temporary. And they're like muscles. And as you work through them, you build them, and it kind of gets less and less, and it's still there. But the growth is everlasting.
Yes. So let's think about the audience, and you're the one that have been engaging people. And so anything that listeners, when you ask about this new coming topic, anything that they share, when did they step out of the comfort zone to change life, anything that you may have listened or heard?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one listener, and I love hearing your stories, you guys. So make sure you send them in through the DMs, through the comments. While you're there, like and subscribe. Make sure you follow along with us. But one listener shared, taking a chance on moving to another country opened up my whole world. And you tell me about that.
Yes, an amazing experience. I think hopefully, I wish everybody could experience that.
Right.
It is an experience.
Or just visiting.
Or visit, right? It's a little bit of that experience, but it's really not a full immersion.
Right.
The full immersion is the truly life-changing. And I just kind of put it into words, what that does to somebody. Because tell me about fears and insecurities. You don't even be able to speak language. And then you're competing, and then you're trying to get a job, and then you're trying to even show yourself that you're better than others, and then you're trying to fit in culture, and I can keep going on and on and on. That's true fear. And what I've seen since I came all alone, that experience has broken people, but that experience has also make great people. And the ones that can push through and survive it, greatness is truly what comes out of that. So we love your stories, guys. Keep sharing at Caminante Pod. Tiff will tell you exactly how to do it. But if this episode has resonated, has called out or moved any particular emotions inside of you, please share it. Follow us, subscribe. What else, Tiff?
That's really it. That's going to be our episode today on embracing discomfort to grow and just become the best version of yourself. You are destined for goodness. Remember, the greatest moments are just beyond the familiar.
Subscribe, leave us a review, share this episode to encourage someone who might be facing their own discomfort. Please, let help this community to continue to grow, really. And I love that ring, by the way. That's the
Somebody's
best thing.
asking for me.
That's the best thing has happened today.
Subscribe here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Follow the Caminante Pod on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And be sure you share this episode with somebody who's ready for their next breakthrough. We love you guys. Thank you so much
Ciao,
for being
Caminantes.
here.
Thank you. Until next week. Bye.